This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Challengers is a movie I've been looking forward to for a very long time. As a big fan of what Luca Guadagnino has been doing these last few years, specifically with Bones and All and Call Me By Your Name, I went in with high expectations. But at the same time, I wasn't crazy about his Suspiria remake. I know all about tennis, so this could have gone anywhere, and I'm pleased to say I have many thoughts on this thing. Oh, you've never heard of this movie? Then I'm about to make your day, pal. Challengers is the latest from Luca Guadagnino, and it tells the story of three tennis players who find themselves in a love triangle. The film stars Zendaya, Mike Faist, and Josh O'Connor, three of the hottest people you could put on a movie screen right now, and it's written by Justin Kuritzkis, aka the potion seller guy. That is not the last time I bring him up. I have loved a lot of movies these last few years, some of which more than this one. But that said, Luca Guadagnino is one of the only directors working today who knows how to make an entertaining movie. He's achieved a very unique and rare type of status as a filmmaker where you can go ahead and call him an auteur. I'm always aware I'm watching a Guadagnino movie, yet he's always trying something new and morphing genres. In doing so, you get really fascinating films that are truly unlike anything I've ever experienced before, even when it's a remake. All the time you hear people talk about the endless creativity the art of filmmaking offers. Well, then why is Luca Guadagnino the only one doing anything about it? Making the camera the tennis ball, a POV from underneath the tennis court, cutting conversations like they're tennis matches, knowing that there's more than one way to use slow motion. Listen, all I'm saying is I hear you if you think some of the choices that are made here are corny, awkward, maybe even stupid, but you can't call it boring. When I watch this, all I see is someone who really knows where to put a camera, aka a really good filmmaker. But a filmmaker would be nothing without a stellar cast, and goddamn does this have a good cast. I wasn't joking when I said these actors are just flat out beautiful people, and thankfully Luca Guadagnino is really good at shooting beautiful people. This is important. Luca treats his actors like marble statues, like Greek gods. Whether it's a sweaty tennis court scene or something more dramatic in a bedroom, he knows exactly how to light his characters, where to put them in the frame, how to get them to pose right, and give them the powerful screen presence that movie stars deserve to have. That is just one of many aspects of this film that really pulls you in and makes it impossible to look away. The performances here are so good that I'm having a hard time picking a favorite of the three. I'll start with Mike Faist though. He's the only one that really took some warming up to here. I thought he totally looked the part, but once he opened his mouth, you can just immediately tell he's a theater boy, which kind of got in the way a few times, which is fine, but I swear there were like 5 separate moments where the music started and I thought he was gonna break into song, and that's just how he acts. But I did think his performance really started to take off in the back half of the film. There's one scene specifically of him and Zendaya in bed that I found really moving, kind of annoying how many people in my theater were giggling away at that scene. It was literally just months ago that I said I finally got to see Zendaya's acting chops come alive in Dune Part 2. These two films are doing completely different things with her, but this one even more so. I feel like she gets to go cuckoo nutso bananas as an actor. I don't know jack shit about tennis, like I said, so I can't really speak to the accuracy here, but as an outsider, she totally sold me on her character being a gifted tennis player. On top of that, her character needs to have a dominating presence in the film, which I always believe. Anytime she's in a room with the two boys, she owns the screen. It really works. Obviously, she does close-ups really well. I feel like that was evident in Euphoria. What I thought really stood out in this film was just how crazy she is. Never in a cartoonish, over-the-top way, but just subtle stuff. Like a confrontation scene near the end between her and Josh O'Connor's character. She does this thing with one of her eyes where it's like a little bit crazier than the other, and it looked so good. There's also this scene in the trailer where she's laying back in the bed. Firstly, in the context of the scene, this shot is amazing. Oh my god, talk about a perfect scene. But look at her face, dog. What a weird face. I feel like there's so many different emotions happening at once here. You can tell she's just a little diabolical. I love weird Zendaya. I hope we get more weird Zendaya down the line. I think she gives one of her best performances ever in this movie. And lastly, Josh O'Connor, who I'm getting very familiar with this week. He absolutely bodied this role. If I had to pick a favorite, it's gotta be him. I'm inducting him in my personal Hall of Fame of sexy, horny, reckless male protagonists. He deserves a spot next to the greats. I don't know, he just has so much charm, but he's also a little sinister where you're kind of on edge whenever you realize you haven't seen him in a while, and then he'll just prance right into the frame completely naked. It rules. Anyone who can balance being funny, charming, frustrating, and very sexy all at the same time is a fantastic actor in my book. Have I not talked about the score yet? Jesus Christ. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, at this point, I expect to deliver, but this one specifically, I felt they really hit it out of the park. I mean, just the decision to use music this clubby and commit to it to the extent that they do is admirable. It is a shame. I feel like synth-heavy film scores have been cornered into only being used in sci-fi or action films, but this has proved just how well it can work on something like sports. It's a really good example of Luca Guadagnino's skill as a filmmaker, not entirely making a new genre, but morphing a bunch of other genres into one thing that feels like something we've never seen before. I wish more film composers would use techno like this, and of course Guadagnino is the kind of director that can let that happen. Their score gives the film this pulsating feel that, especially near the end, adds so much tension to an already nail-biting scene. It's just constantly building and evolving, and you're waiting for the release only for it to keep going, keeping you on edge. It's almost like the tennis match scenes are the sex scenes. I think that is exactly what it's trying to do in the end. Guadagnino was somehow able to make the cannibal movie somewhat sexy. It comes as no surprise he absolutely nailed the threesome movie. Which, speaking of, I have to mention how both Justin Kuritzky's and his wife Celine Song both made movies about love triangles. That's their business, but I had to mention this coincidence. Back to what I was saying though, to label this as just the Zendaya threesome movie feels dismissive of how much this film actually pulls off. See, Challengers is, at the end of the day, a film about two different stories that prove themselves to be one singular thing in the end. Throughout the film, the line that separates the tennis and the love story gets blurrier to a point where you don't even really know what the conversation the characters are having is really about, which I found to be a fascinating way of looking at love. What these characters do, and what Kuritzky proposes, is that love is a competition, or more specifically, it can be a competition, in a way no different from a tennis match. For there to be a competition, there needs to be an agreement between two parties, and because of that, because of the willingness to keep going, there's something inherently romantic and, I don't know, sexy about competition in itself. Sure, the film highlights the toxicity and absurdity of viewing a relationship through this lens, but I also really admire how it's never outwardly making a case for or against this way of looking at romance. It instead is simply presenting it as a way of loving, showing every side of it, the sexy parts, the devastating parts, and the ugly parts. Like any great film, when it was over, all I could think was, how has a film like this never been made until now? How has an idea this rich, this juicy, only just now been brought into the world? I'm sure there are examples out there, but as far as I know, I can't think of any sexy sports rom-coms out there, at least none that come with this much food for thought. I did come in expecting just a fun, threesome tennis movie starring Zendaya, but I ended up getting one of the best movies about what it means to be a person falling in love and the stupid, messy, and just crazy decisions you make when you're in that position. It is a bit messy, for sure. One weird thing is that one slow motion scene is in like a choppy frame rate, and then another slow motion scene is like super smooth. I don't know why they're different, but that really doesn't matter at the end of the day. No, it's one of the most unique and hilarious romance films I've seen in a very long time. That's what matters. I laughed, I cried, I started shaking for like 20 minutes. Is that not everything you could ask for and more out of a film? Also, I had knee surgery not too long ago, and there's a knee scene in this film that, yes, did make me cry. It's not a scene I would have normally cried at. It's not that good of a scene, but it worked for me this time. Just goes to show you the stars aligned for me with this movie, and it just might be my favorite film of the year so far. Is that crazy? As Timothée Chalamet put it in Bones and All, I ate it the fuck up. Anyway, thanks for watching. Go watch Challengers and form your own opinion. And before you head out, I want to thank this week's sponsor, Squarespace. Have you been looking to make a personalized website? Well, thanks to their new guided design system, Squarespace Blueprint, you can make that happen, which allows you to create a unique online presence from the ground up using their professionally curated layout and styling options, tailored to your brand or business and optimized for every device. Make it super easy to launch that beautiful website of yours and get discovered fast with integrated, optimized SEO tools, so you show up more often to more people and grow the way you want. Something I love about Squarespace is their visual design tools, which allow you to grow credibility and engage visitors with an unrivaled suite of visual design effects built in and ready to go on any Squarespace website. It also only takes a few clicks to add your social and multimedia accounts. And just like that, you're able to extend your brand's footprint. And if you need to create a portfolio, they have exactly what you need. With their video collections feature, you're able to upload video content, organize your video library, and showcase your content on beautiful video pages. You can go to squarespace.com to start your free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Karsten to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.